Hey everybody, and welcome back to Fresh Set. I'm Sabrina.
And I'm Kevin.
And we're back with another race review. We went to the spa this weekend.
Always one of my favorites to watch.
Still?
It always, the potential is there.
Okay, all right. Before we jump into the race review, just wanted to remind everybody to follow us on social media. Like, subscribe, share, all the things. Follow, did I say that? At Fresh Set Podcast on all social media, and then also where you get your podcasts and YouTube at Fresh Set Podcast. So, like, share, subscribe, follow, comment, all the things.
Yeah.
So let's get into this weekend, which both of us actually forgot it was a sprint.
Yeah,
this weekend.
I woke up on Friday and be like, oh yeah, there's no F2 or FP2. So sprint quality. So, which was, I mean, I was at a baseball tournament all weekend, so luckily didn't have to catch up on much. But going into the weekend, all the talk was about, to Max and his contract and is he signing and all of that shit. We'll just get it out of the way quick because he had the same kind of media room that he did, other than the fact that everybody wasn't crowding all over him today. Toto comes out and says, our focus is going to be the two drivers we have right now. So pretty much the price that Max was going to cost them was way too much. And George and Kimi still don't have a contract for next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Max will stay at Red Bull for 2026.
Yeah, I still think something's up there. I know Toto said that, but he said that before and then went on this romantic date weekend date with Max in Sardinia. So yeah, I don't know. I do still think something's there, even though he said it. I mean, poor Max is in these
well, the rumor is
media
that
rooms.
The clause for his contract, that clause is now closed. So he has to, unless he pays some ridiculous amount of money. I don't know. We don't know the details of it, but apparently it's closed. So that's why he's staying. He can't get out of his contract now, apparently, for 2026.
But I mean, we've seen worse contracts be ripped up. So I don't know. Anyways, so that started. George is probably sleeping like a baby now. But I mean, I still wouldn't unless
I wouldn't. I'm like, where's my contract? It's not getting done, so give me something.
Yeah. But I mean, so Max had that, all the Christian stuff, all the questions about Christian, and it's the first weekend with Laurent Mekies. Another weekend for Max without GP being his engineer, which I actually read or saw something that said in the time, since Max signed with Red Bull in 2016, I think it was, GP has never missed a race. Nope. This season, he's already missed 2. Yeah.
I believe
what is going on?
A family issue.
Yeah. And this one just said personal reason. Yeah. So, but yeah. And I mean, he doesn't do horribly when GP's away. So, but I mean, he's a lot nicer to his race engineer.
Although this weekend, before we get into the actual race of it all, we did have, again, this is another weekend with Nico Rosberg. And so I don't know if you caught any of the updates or the grid walks. And he comes up to Jos Verstappen and asked him about all the Christian stuff. And he was very critical of Christian last year. And Jos just kind of brushes it off like, that was a year and a half ago. Everything's fine, whatever. Like, well, no, you're always very loud. He's like, now you're all quiet. Now of all times, you're gonna say nothing. He's like, I'm always quiet. No, you're not.
You never
have as
quiet.
Much to say as Helmut Marko has to say, which Helmut Marko made an address to the Red Bull factory that was not very nice. But I don't think he endeared himself to any more to any of that group. But don't now hide just because you're gonna be like a smug little winner and just be like, I got my way.
Well, did you see when Ted saw, was it Ted or Martin saw Helmet walking in? And he was like, Helmet walking by himself, like so somberly. So he's like, where are your friends? God don't have any? Where'd all your friends go?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I mean, Nico is always, he's going to ask the questions. He
Oh yeah,
doesn't care. He
doesn't care.
does not care at
No.
all. So, I mean, he's great TV.
Yeah,
He needs to not replace anybody, but I think it needs to be
they have to
like,
keep him. Yeah.
yeah, he needs to be, well, there
No.
are people that he can replace, but person.
Yes.
There's person.
There are person.
Yeah. That's my English for the day. Uh, One thing that I did also, again, before we jump into the race, one thing that I did find this weekend in Spa was a lot of rain scheduled, which we got a lot of rain. But one thing that I found interesting when the drivers were interviewed on the grid by any number of interviewers was, how confident are you feeling in the car? And normally it's fine. Normally I think that's, how confident are you thinking you are winning this weekend? How confident are you? Whatever. But when it's pissing rain,
Yeah. It's like, well, who knows?
there's like a different like connotation to it. And I'm like, this is, we have a race where it's a track where a friend of numerous drivers lost his life. So to ask a question like that just seems a little insensitive at this track, more so in the rain. But I know they always do it. They always ask silly questions to hockey players. You're losing. How are you going to win? I don't know. They like, yeah, there's always
it's raining. How are you going to run in the rain? Who the fuck knows?
Right. Carefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, let's get actually into the race, the sprint, or FP1. Nothing really.
Nothing.
Sprint qualifying, which I missed because I did not know it was a sprint this weekend. And totally forgot about that.
I missed for other reasons, but then when I decided to watch, I knew who would come in pole, so I didn't watch it at all. But either way, I don't know if it was. I don't think it was actually raining. I think they called for rain on Friday, and it didn't end up raining. The only real thing of note, actually, there was a few. I lie. There was a few things. Lewis Hamilton out in 18th. So Ferrari brought a bunch of upgrades this weekend, apparently to all of the pertaining to all the documents that Lewis has been sending to Ferrari, because he said he sent a document before and he sent another 2 documents. I get he's got to meet with engineers, and he meets with about 30 different engineers, and they've got to talk about what's working, what he feels, and what blah, blah, blah. I get that part. But then he's meeting with the head of Ferrari. He's meeting with Fred, which is normally going to meet with Fred. He's sending documents to all these people. Like, this has got to be the equivalent, and we both have this at work, I'm sure, where somebody emails you and you see their email pop up and you're like, again? Like, what could it be this time? Honestly, figure it out, man. You just see that name pop up and like, oh, and it's got a red receipt on there, so you can't just delete it. But
or seeing that they copied like their boss, and it's like, okay, here we go.
And you don't know who's BCC'd, I'm sure. And Enzo in the grave is being CC'd.
Honestly.
But it's just have your meetings. Like, you're not the. I get you. I'm not going to discount the level of experience you have with cars.
Right.
But you are not there to fix the car. You're there to give your input. You are not the engineer. You are not the head of design and technicality or whatever the fuck they got their titles are. Yeah. But like, when you say that, I'm just like, you just sound so pretentious and babyish. Like, it's just enough.
Well, and to the extreme that we even saw, I think Charles had done an interview as well, kind of talking about all this and saying, how much he's brought to, how much Lewis has brought, and his knowledge and everything that he's brought. It was like almost as if it was like, hey, back me up. I'm going to say this.
That's after Lewis sent a document to his PR person.
Exactly. But and then to be out in 18th.
For all good, that's done. Lewis was out in 18th. Then we had George also out in 13th in SQ2. Yuki out in 12th. I mean, the way he's been running, it's not really that much of a surprise. But you're hoping for more, especially I believe they brought some upgrades this weekend too. Both Aston Martins I don't know. They brought up a bunch of upgrades as well this weekend, and it just seems like their upgrades never work.
Ever.
They fell flat this weekend. So they were 14th
Yeah.
and 15th qualifying anyways.
There was that one, I guess it would be 2023.
Yeah, when they were
Max
third or fourth.
Yeah, and they were doing well. McLaren was in the pits.
Alonso had 2 podiums, I think, by that point.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do some upgrades." Ever since then, they cannot get
destroyed
upgrades
their car.
right.
They destroyed.
Yeah, so it was like after Miami that year, I think.
What it was, yeah.
And then it was just done. But
they have to go back to the early 2022 spec.
Yeah.
Bortoletto just showing his control of this crap car again.
Yeah.
Qualifying in 10th, Hadjar qualifying in 9th, Gasly in what's probably the slowest car on the grid, qualifying in 8th, where his teammate qualified in, 19th. Kimi Antonelli had a really rough qualifying. That was the other one. Sorry, I missed that one.
Yeah.
Qualifying in 19th or 20th.
Yeah.
Showing a lot of emotion there.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Nobody said anything about him showing emotion. I mean, it
He was crying.
Marco. He's not part of his team, but
yeah.
It wasn't like Hadjar.
Yeah.
But
I don't even remember who was interviewing, and they were like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Yeah, and then Ollie Behrman as well. So Ollie Behrman and Esteban Ocon, 5th and 7th. I mean, I don't know what they did to the Haas. I think they brought upgrades this weekend. I don't really.
They brought upgrades to one, anticipating the rain.
Yes.
It was the rear wing.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did anything else with the engine or anything, but I know they did a rear wing on Ocon. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Ocon. It was a low profile wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they end up in 5th and 6th, and that was, and then Oscar obviously coming in first by a pretty handy margin, 0.4 of a second. And then Max behind him. Yeah.
And Lando behind.
Lando behind Max, by about 10th and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean the front is switching up a little bit, or the top 10, I should say. The front 2 rows kind of have been the same throughout the season. But from 5th back, that's been all over the place. And cars that we don't think should be there are there. Even Zach Brown actually said this weekend in an interview, he said, even the worst car on the grid right now is really good.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, there's 20 drivers, but again, like the worst car is up and sitting in 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
So, or in the top 10. So race, and I'm like, okay, now I know it's a sprint weekend. I'm up at 6 a.m. to watch the race, set my alarm, wake up, turn on the TV, and go back to sleep. And I wake up and he's coming around to win the Belgian Grand Prix. And I was like, cool. Well, who?
Yeah. I will tell you, I woke up at 5:30, got ready for the race, watched the race, and I could have slept. It's fun. We had, might as well say it, after turn 3 or 4, Max is right behind. They both have a great start right off the line. Mm-hmm. So does Lando and Charles as well. And Max finds some slipstream, was able to get around Oscar pretty cleanly. I think it was turn 4 maybe. And after that, he was gone. He was gone. Yeah. He was like 2-3 seconds ahead. Charles at that same point got ahead of Lando in that same spot and that same turn, basically. And then eventually Lando gets it back probably around lap 3 or 4, maybe 5. And then not much changes. I mean, you have Ocon stays in 5th, Sainz in 6th, Behrman in 7th. Hadjar gets a point. He gets in 8th, so he makes a couple spots. George is still in 12th. He makes up 1 spot. Yuki's up. Oh, that's because Gasly, did not finish.
Yeah.
So everybody else automatically moves up 1. I think Lewis moved up 1 or 2. Nothing happened. It was lap 1, and everybody was afraid to crash their car because they've got qualifying 3 hours later.
3 hours later. Well, and I mean, we know sprints are a shorter race. So there's no, unless something happens to your car, there's no pit stops. And then this one, we usually see them about, or unless it's raining, yeah. But we usually see about 19 laps, and this one was only 15. So this was very quick.
Yeah.
This was a very quick. I mean, the race was only 44 laps as well, but it is a longer track, so that's why.
I mean,
but
at one point, it's a little close. I think Oscar's within a half a second of Max. You know, but then Lando comes up right behind him, so he's attacking and defending at the same time, which doesn't help him.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it stayed. So, I mean, he only finished 0.7 of a second ahead of Oscar, and Lando 1.5 seconds behind Max, so another 0.7 behind his teammate. And then Charles was 10 seconds behind Max. So, you know, it was just, it was what it was. It was boring. It was worth 8 points to have a nice Sunday drive or Saturday drive.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was it. I mean, I don't know. I can't really, literally nothing happened other than Gasly, which I don't remember how we did not finish, but he did not finish.
So then on to qualifying.
On to qualifying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which it happens for every sprint race. It's 3 hours after the race, and you hope that nothing has happened to your car during the race at all.
Well, luckily they do have the opportunity to have a little bit of a setup change, so they can change their wings or their setup, their whatever their setup, because they're going to have more fuel load or whatever. So they are able to change it, but they also want to change it for race time, because they don't, that's whatever they qualify in is how they're going to have to keep their car.
Yeah. So regular old quali. This is where we see a little bit of action, a little bit of questionable, again, people being out where they're not supposed to be, or people surprising us of where they're starting, because that's not where they have been. I think the big one for me was Yuki qualifying in 7th, I think it was?
Yes.
Which
7th.
Is probably, you correct me if I'm wrong, could be his best quali in the Red Bull.
I believe so.
In the Red Bull. I think he's had maybe like a 5th or something in RB at some point, but
I believe, in the Red Bull, I believe this is his best start.
Which is a little bit of confidence.
Sure.
For him.
Yeah.
We did see, again, Lewis out in Q1.
Yeah, his last fast lap, he in Q1, he spins out, time deleted. Oh, wait. No, wait. Or was that sprint? One of them he spun out, and then the other one was deleted for track limits. I think it might have been the track limits, for Lewis there. Which is why he ended up in 16th.
Yeah.
Both Aston Martins, not only out in Q1, but 19th and 20th, slowest on the grid.
Yeah.
Slowest on the grid. Antonelli, third slowest. Again, out in 18th. I mean, slower than Colapinto.
Yeah. Who's been just like, I don't know, Fred Flintstone hoofing that car around.
Yeah, basically. Pushing it around.
I don't know, Fred Flintstone hoofing that car. Yeah. So, I mean, again, you have Aston Martin also has the Mercedes engine. So
they do, yes.
What's going on there, Mercedes?
They won't have it next year.
Well, true. They will not. They will not be 19th and 20th next year.
Another Mercedes engine, 15th, Carlos Sainz, who had a different setup change to Albon, because Albon qualified in 5th, and then started in 5th. And Carlos Sainz starting in 15th.
Just ahead of Lewis.
Sorry, qualifying, not starting. Yes, just ahead of Lewis.
Well, yeah.
Well, he didn't qualify much higher than Lewis in Q1, but
yeah.
Anyways, for as good of a showing as Gasly had in sprint qualifying, he did not have. Well, he was in 10th. He was qualified 13th this time, but the Haas's were both in 11th and 12th. Bortoleto again consistent in a 10, making it into Q3, the second straight Q3. Yeah. In the Sauber. And then both RBs, 8 and 9, they're finding something.
Yeah.
It's
bizarre.
They're consistently, at least one of them is consistently in top 10. They're getting at least one car in there, whereas Red Bull's getting nothing. And they weren't far off of Yuki's times. Like, they were right on his ass. Like, even his Q, I think they were just shy of like 0.05 of a second of Yuki.
Jeez. Yeah.
What's the problem? I don't understand it. Where is the difference?
I don't know, because even like you could say, and I know it's a different car and whatever, but you could say the RBs or V carb last year, they weren't getting top 10. Like Yuki and Daniel were sitting in that middle group there. They were out in Q2, I guess, or even lower sometimes. So what is slowly working for the two RBs, but not the second Red Bull?
I don't know. I mean, I know we've said it over and over again. It's got to be the driver, the car. But if it keeps going this way, because we'll see in the race. But if it keeps going this way, Yuki will not be driving anymore. And I'm afraid they're going to put Liam back up there, and it's just going to destroy him.
Yeah. Well, I did see something that Yuki said. This was the first weekend that he had felt confident and supported and excited about the Red Bull. And
was this before or after the race?
Before.
Yeah, okay.
It was
that
so it was kind of a dig at Christian. It was like, Laurent coming in and just how supportive he has been of the entire team.
Yeah.
Where we do know there was favoritism, whether we want to admit it or not. I mean, there was favoritism with a guy that wasn't even on his team.
Christian. Yeah.
Right. So,
even with Daniel out, I'm sure Yuki felt that he would rather have Daniel in that car than Yuki.
Yeah. So maybe there is something to say that, there's always been the rumors of, no, it's not the car. The cars are the same. Maybe, we'll get to the race, but we'll see. And then I think it's going to take a couple races with Laurent. It happens with every team principal switch. It takes a couple races to see, or an entire season to see what the changes are within the actual team. But
I get that too, and I feel like, I know Marco's tone has changed toward Yuki in the media, but I'm pretty sure he still doesn't like him. And so I don't know how supported he thinks. I'm pretty sure he feels that glare in the back of his helmet every time he sits in that car. Yeah,
for sure. But going on to race day. Oh, we didn't say who was
Lando qualified in pole, just edging out Oscar in second, obviously, and then Leclerc having a really good showing. 3.5 tenths behind Lando, which I know is still a lot, but it was ahead of the Red Bull by just 3/1000ths of a second.
Yeah, which good for Charles. I get, but again, we have this like discrepancy of Lewis out in, which again, it's a track limit.
That was a track limits thing,
but they're so far apart with Charles ending up in third spot place there. But so Sunday race, 44 laps. The rain has come. The rain is falling. And so they decide that they're going to do, the FIA decides that they're going to do.
We also have a bit of a change in, it's not much of a change in the order of our starting grid. Alonso's still qualified in 20th, but he's going to start in the pit lane because we had 4 cars not on the starting grid. But Alonso starts in the pit lane because he took a new power unit. Kimi Antonelli took advantage of him qualifying so poorly, so they changed his power unit. Lewis Hamilton also changed his power unit. It's because he was going to start in 16th anyways. And Carlos Sainz changed his setup. Not changed his setup. What did he do? Yeah, it was like a setup change or something. So he took a penalty for that and started 17th in the pit lane. All 4 of those in the pit lane.
Yeah, which makes it messy, but whatever.
Not
4
the way
cars
started,
there.
I guess.
Yeah. So the FIA decides they're going to, because of the rain, safety, they kind of just want to feel out the track, see what's going on. They want to do the formation lap behind the safety car. Everybody's on inters. It is like pissing rain. Yeah. There is spray that they're not really.
Sure.
So most of the drivers have spray. And then there's some really wet parts of the track. And then less than halfway around the track, we see that there's a red flag. After the formation lap, Lando makes a comment that he's in pole. So the only car in front of him is the Aston Martin safety car.
Yeah.
And so he says, I'm getting some spray. I can barely see through it. So I imagine it's worse for everybody else. Max is like, why are they red flagging? Let's just race. This is what I mean, but he's good in the wet like that.
Exactly. I think Lando was already pissing his pants, like, how am I going to make a turn here?
Yeah.
And realized he was going to get caught by his teammate and Max and Pierre and
probably everybody else. And so they red flag, and then we don't hear how long, because what we also know is that the radar is showing that there's rain coming in 10 minutes.
Heavier rain.
And so we're like, okay, it's at least going to be 10 minutes. And it ends up being 90 minutes later that we get like a restart, that the race will start. Or I guess it was 120 minutes. And then it was to be 10 minutes until the restart. So a total of 90 minutes. But then it would be, the race will begin behind the safety car again. And then the safety car will peel off. It'd be like a race restart if there was
2 or 3 laps or something behind the safety car, I think they did.
Yeah. And then it was the rolling start, and immediately Lando loses his battery.
Yeah.
Doesn't make him stop or anything, but he's just not able to move the car the way it should be moving.
His Mercedes power unit just doesn't want to work.
Yeah, again, another one.
Yeah.
And so Oscar gets him pretty much exactly how Max got Oscar in the sprint.
Yeah.
And really easy, no fighting with that. I don't think Lando could fight it.
Yeah, he couldn't move.
And then 2 laps later, we hear on Lando's radio that now Oscar is struggling with the same battery issue that Lando had on the first lap. Or, I think it was like the 5th lap by that point, but that restart. So kind of saying to Lando, like, now's your chance, go for it. But he couldn't or didn't. And then I think the one to watch, you had no choice, was Lewis.
Yeah, there was also, Gasly also had a pretty good day. He came back from, what did I say it was, 15th? 15th or 16th, like all the way up to 10th. He's good in that those kind of conditions, but but no, Lewis Hamilton was, where did we start at? 18th? Just making his way through the pack. Good tire changes, good timing coming off the inters. We saw Lando kind of being a victim of the tire change as well, because he was sticking so close to Oscar that he couldn't come in on inters, which I think he dropped back 2.5 seconds or almost 3 seconds because he stayed out that extra lap. But yeah, Lewis was just the beneficiary of that, and he was able to cut his way through everybody pretty easily.
Yeah.
I don't actually remember one where he had like a real fight.
No. He was in, I guess it would have been 17th, I guess, because of like the pit lane.
I think it was 18th.
Because was he in
his starting grid? I think it was 18th.
Oh, yep. Carlos was in front? Okay.
Yep.
So where he started, and then he was within like the first 2 rolling laps, he had already taken the 2 people in front of him. By the end of that lap, he had taken 2 more people. It was like 6 overtakes in like 2 laps or something like that. And he was just flying past. There's still water on the track. There's still spray. It's a lighter spray. But he was just flying. And then very quickly, he's the first driver actually to switch to non-wet tires. So he was on inters, and he's the first one to go to mediums.
I think he came in with Pierre and one of the Haas. I think. They were the first ones in that lap, and they, we didn't even really hear it. They called box right as he was at that pit stop. They didn't want to give anybody else that
the chance,
kind of advantage, or their thoughts on it.
And pretty much once everybody is done their pit changes, which all happened pretty quickly in the next couple laps after that, we see that Lewis is in 7th. Like, he's just made his way because he got those 6 overtakes done. Then everybody else had to go in, and he's just way faster than people, and they've got to warm up their tires. His are good and warm now, and he's just sitting where he needs to. It was very good to watch. But we do see
Hamilton, Gasly, Hülkenberg, and Alonso all coming in 11. And then right after, Piastri, Leclerc, Verstappen, George, Lawson, Bortoleto, Berman, Colapinto, and Sainz all come in the next. And Stroll and Antonelli all come in the next lap, and Lando still has to wait till lap 13. And Yuki and all that. Yeah,
and I mean, you could see the flashing of the time at the side. It was like in pit, and out lap, like,
and then everybody's switching.
Yeah. But good racing from Charles and Max. I mean, Max kind of stayed in that DRS for a good bit of time. Was he close enough to overtake? There was maybe 1 or 2 times that he would have been difficult, but like, he was within that 0.4 range. But that was also at the time that there was no DRS. Because they still had inters on, and they were still wet. So, would the DRS have made a difference? Maybe. Don't know for sure. You could argue yes. We know Max makes those random long lunges, but Charles was making it difficult.
Yeah, I just don't feel like the Red Bulls had it. The car it wasn't really working for them this weekend. Not at this track.
No. Which is supposed to be a good track for them. But
it always is. But Charles and the Ferrari they were on it all weekend.
Yeah. He was making, we didn't hear too many of Max's radios.
No.
But I can just imagine
at one point, but
yeah.
That was in the sprint.
I can just imagine how frustrated he was. Not because Charles was cutting him off or pushing him wide. No. It was just, I can't get around. Yeah, like, I just can't get around him. And then that pit window, like you said, was a disaster. I think surprisingly there was only the one possible unsafe release of Charles into Albon, but they didn't even look into it.
No, there was also the Piastri when Max came in.
Was there an unsafe release there too? Piastri had a slow stop.
No, Orlando it was Charles. Charles and Max came in at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry, my mistake. And then Max still had a slow release, and then Charles came out to Albon. Yes.
Yeah. So, but they didn't even end up looking into it, or it didn't come up on the screen that they were.
Yeah. No, it didn't.
Yeah. The only thing that we really came up was a black and white.
Yeah, it was kind of unsafe. They didn't bring that up. I completely forgot about it after it happened.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But then nothing happens.
Nothing happens. That was the story of the race. I mean, we have that past Oscar on Lando, and a little bit of fighting with Max and George. We have Lewis cutting through the pack and Pierre cutting through the pack, and nothing happened.
Yeah, so I guess the only thing is that we didn't mention was that Oscar had put on mediums when he did his pit change, and Lando put on hards, and they said, we'll take you to the end, which the mediums shouldn't have. But again, they're running 1-2, so it's really hard to make a decision of what you're going to do, because you're either going to get undercut by your own teammate, which happens, or your teammate's going to be on your tail. So Oscar had a big enough gap for most of the race with Lando because of the pits and all that. And then we start to get to the point where it's like, if Oscar's going to change to a new set of mediums or another hards, or a set of hards, he's got to do it. And he's not doing it. Not doing it. It's like, you're running out of time if you want to warm them up, make them last, get them to the good point, and make them last. And he's not coming in. And then he so calmly on the radio says he'll take the mediums to the end. Yeah. But you can see Lando's tires are turning on, and he is cutting time out of Oscar. And I think at one point he was at 9 seconds, and within, I don't know, 4 laps, and there's still 15 laps to go at this point maybe, and he is cutting down to 7 seconds. So it's like, if he continues, and he's the fastest, his lap times are faster than Oscar. So they were saying if Oscar doesn't come in, Lando's going to be on him for the last 4 laps of this race, and possibly overtake him. But Lando, we know Lando makes a couple mistakes here and there when things get a little too hairy for him. And that's what happened. And it would have, I think in total, it would have been about 3 seconds, with like, he had 3 separate times where he made a mistake, which I think in total probably cost him, like, one was like 0.6.
There was one large lockup that cost him about a second and a half.
Yeah.
He was about a second and a half into, or up to, right behind him.
Yeah.
And that one cost him big.
Yeah.
And that was lap 40. It was 40, 42, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he was getting, and then all of a sudden it just kind of went away. And
Oscar did say, though, that if he had stayed in second, that was his strategy as well. Like, he was going on the hards, and Lando would have likely gone on the mediums. So I think that was just McLaren's bet all the time. I think they thought that the race leader would have been further ahead with those mediums.
Yeah.
But
it did sound like earlier on that they were, I forgot who they, Anthony Davidson, I think it's who they had on the pit wall, and he was, or listening into the pit walls. He was saying that McLaren were trying to push Oscar to gain so that they could almost do a double stack at one point, and they couldn't. And it's such a big track that it's hard to do, even leaving Lando out, that extra lap and not coming in cost him a little bit of time as well, probably more than it would have if they did the double stack. But so Oscar wins Belgium.
2025 Belgium. Spa. Lando second, Charles third, Max in fourth, and I saw somewhere it's the first time Max has not gotten a podium in 3 races in a row since 2019.
Wow.
Could be 2019. I believe it was still under the 2020s, or maybe it was 2020. But yeah, it's quite a long stretch to not be on the podium 3 races in a row.
I mean, you know what? The guy can take a break. He had 1 year of winning all but 2.
They say they say that, but also, we gave Lucas his Grand Prix win, but nobody talks about him being on the podium the day before.
Yeah.
Or his sprint win, not Grand Prix win.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't count that either.
Max definitely does it. He's like, thank you. How many points do I have now? Yeah. Like, how many points away am I? I mean, they'll definitely take all the points that they can, but I think this race, I think we have to see what happens in Hungary next, but this is looking like a Lando-Oscar fight. I
think it looked like that for a long time.
Unless there's a couple DNFs with those McLarens.
Which I don't think there will be ever again.
No.
Well, you never know. If they're within striking distance in the last 2 races, and that means the championship.
Gloves are off.
It's possible. Yeah.
Gloves are off.
Yeah.
If you are okay,
like if they have like a 6-point difference, let's just say 6-point difference. So a win, a first or a second is the difference, and you're fighting at the front. I mean, it's feasible that the person, if that, you know, the race leader is running in second that day, they might want to crash out.
They might. They might just. But if you are, if you're Max, okay, you are Max Verstappen. We're at the last race, Abu Dhabi, lead up to Abu Dhabi. You've got the guy that drives just like you versus your good friend. Who are you giving advice to about how to win this?
I don't think Max gives advice to any of them.
Well, if he's just
you guys deal with it. I did this in 2021. You guys figure it out.
Which team? Like, do you think Max's team?
Oh, I think
Lando,
he's got a more relationship with Team Lando.
Yeah,
not
the villain.
I think he likes them both,
Oscar.
but I think
he'd want his friend to win.
He might be saying good luck to Lando, you know, watch how he does this and whatever, and then he's telling Oscar, just fucking hit him.
just knock him out.
Yeah. You see, if you just drive real close to him, you can say that he brake checked you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Oscar's not even probably talking to Max at all.
No.
He's like,
no. He probably doesn't even talk to his girlfriend or anything. He's just like, leave me alone.
Honestly.
Shit to do.
Honestly. But yeah,
that's Spa. I mean,
that was Spa. Cool trophy.
Yeah.
Did you notice the trophy? Yeah. That was pretty cool.
I did. They've been all right this year.
Yeah, it looked like a DNA. No, not DNA.
I know what you mean, like a double helix thing.
Yes.
But yeah.
Like a DNA. I'm not good with the words today.
No. You are not the person for that. No for that.
One thing that I wanted to say, did you ever note, I know we know that the race engineer, like the pit wall, is not huge. Some teams have a bigger one. They have more than 3 people. But did you ever notice where the engineers sit? I saw it specifically with McLaren.
I have, but is it different in Spa?
Well, it was more so like who sits beside who.
Oh,
they were looking at McLaren's pit wall at one point, and it was Will Joseph, somebody, and Tom Stollard, who is Oscar's engineer. And I was like, they can hear each other talking, which I know they can hear each other on the radio, but it's like, how do you, because there are times that you are fighting your teammate, and it's like, you can probably hear the strategy, and then you're just turning around to say, I thought they would at least sit on the ends, so they're not totally hearing what's coming out. But
I imagine it's loud enough, and you got those cans on, that you're really just focused in on your conversation with whoever's buzzing you in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know they can press their button and talk to the other engineers, and so I'm assuming that the sound, the ambient sound, and those cans really kind of distract you from getting any of those details.
Yeah. I would love if they did, even if it was Drive to Survive, we need to interview a race engineer. I mean, I know we've had the Bernie Collins, we've had who's a strategist, but it would be interesting to sit down with like a GP or a Will Joseph or Bono. He's the most iconic one. And just what they go through of like,
they should have a blooper reel. They should have one episode of Drive to Survive. And it's just like, and just see the stress these people go through.
Yeah.
And the yelling they get. And
like, are they arguing ever?
I'm sure they are.
It would be
I'm sure there are, like, can you imagine what it was like to be Nico's and Lewis's engineers?
Yeah.
At that time, and then what was going on? I'm sure they fought. I'm sure they did.
It's because like you have Oscar yelling at you like, no, I'm not going to give up the position. You have Will Joseph pleading with Lando to give the position back.
Please give the position back. Please,
so it's
please.
Like...
He's staring at me. He's got a knife to my neck.
That's what I mean. I'm like, why have we not interviewed or in the documentaries?
They're all there. I should try and see if I can find some.
Yeah.
And just make a compilation of my favorites. But, they're there. You can listen in on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could. But it'd be interesting, like, what's not being put
broadcast
through the radio of
yeah
like them just absolutely losing it with each other. But yeah, that was just something. The other thing that I just wanted to quickly talk about was, we mentioned it earlier, Nico Rosberg. In the 90 minutes of waiting for the race, they brought him into the box with Martin Brundle and Crofty there. And they had to fill 90 minutes. So they're just talking about the most random things. Nico brings up, do you think Toto and Zach miss Christian? And then actually Martin Brundle brings up like a good point. He's like, well, a rivalry needs two people, or in their case, three. So it's a little bit, you've got to think they might not miss him, but it's like,
they will miss him being the villain.
That's my buddy. That's the buddy, the guy that I argue with every weekend, or just shoot the shit with. So, and then he actually Brundle actually put it back on, or I think it was Crofty at that point, put it back on Nico and said, "Do you think your championship win would have been as sweet if you weren't fighting with Lewis?" And he was like, good point. He's like, no, it wouldn't have been. No. Like, it would have been...
It wouldn't be that satisfying.
No, it would have just been... And then, so Nico actually then started talking about what him and Lewis used to get up to as kids. And they were like... He said that whenever they went away for races, that they shared a room. And then he's like, oh, I have a picture of Lewis and I, and we're still neighbors. And we have... And he's like, a relationship.
Well, yeah.
Not a friendship. They're like, they cohabitate. But yeah, it was just funny to talk about, or to hear him talk about them as kids. And like, he's like, we used to trash hotel rooms at like 13 years old.
I bet they did.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, news, which we don't have too much.
No, the only thing I really had is that there's reports getting closer and closer that Cadillac's 2 drivers will be Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas. Nothing's official, but there seems to be so many reports about those two that just seems that there's something behind it. There's going to be, it's guaranteed that one of them will be, and at most likely Sergio. But it seems more and more likely that the 2 of them will be their drivers for next year.
Yeah. Now, Nico also asked with this Bottas.
Year. Yeah, he did. I saw that.
Yeah, and Nico did ask Bottas. He's like, huh? What? I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
That was it.
I did have just Toto Wolff talking about missing that again, quote unquote, missing Christian Horner, saying, I need to be careful. He could be rocking up in the FIA and then I'm really in shit.
Yeah.
Just funny. Again, like it's not that they hate each other, they don't love each other, but there's just this banter
I think there is
they have
a distinct dislike for each other.
Yeah, at moments.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. I think there's a great amount of respect between the two.
Yeah.
But they also don't like each other.
Yeah. What else did I have? Zandvoort. Did you see Zandvoort? Which they've got a couple weeks to repair it, but the track at Zandvoort has broken up.
I saw that was fake.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. I saw that.
It flooded out because of rain.
The track official had said, no, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with the track at all. So I don't know. Are they covering their own ass? I know there was that picture that was there. I don't know where that picture came from.
Yeah.
So they're saying it's fine. Other people are saying it's messed up. So who knows?
The rain is gone. It's fine. Don't worry. It'll be fine.
When we see a patch of brand new asphalt on the race day, then
we'll just one spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very like Ross from Friends. I'm fine. The track's fine. And we just have the sprint. We have the calendar for next year, and then they've just released where the sprints will be next year, which is China, Miami, Canada, Silverstone, Zandvoort, which I just mentioned, and Singapore, which will be a night sprint, which I mean, I think we already have one, Qatar, but
and a tight one too.
Yeah.
Canada will be interesting. Canada will be fun, I think. I think that would be it's a quick track, so I think it would be good for a sprint.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But fresh set.
Dirty air. Dirty air first? Is that how we do it? Do we do dirty air first? Yes, we do. Yeah. I don't know how I forgot all this. My dirty air is going to be the Aston Martins. I mean, I can't. I wanted to pick something else. I can't.
Yeah.
They were the worst of the worst this weekend. There were a lot of things that were bad. But just the Aston Martins, just flat. Yeah. Just, you can't, and you got to stop. You can't say you're bringing upgrades and you have like some of the worst showings you've had all season.
Just don't say anything. Submit your documents.
Wait to see what happens, and then be like, oh yeah, well, we brought upgrades this weekend, or just keep quiet. And just
I know.
Say absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I know they do have to submit what they're doing, but maybe we just submit the documents and
just don't say anything to the media.
Just not say anything. Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah.
The Aston Martin's not so good there. My dirty air, I'm gonna go FIA. I think we didn't need to wait 90 minutes.
Oh, that okay.
I think, and I think Max, I think Max should have.
I thought you were going to argue me on that one.
I think Max was right when he said, if we, and even Martin Brundle was saying it, that if we just wait and wait and wait for blue skies, then what's the point of racing in wet at all?
Wet tires.
They barely even use the wet, so are we just not going to use winters? Winters.
Oh, that'd be interesting. That's where you can do Canada.
Like it didn't need to be that long. Like, we can't just wait for it to not rain. Some of the best races have been in the rain. Race results for certain people. We only get better. Yes, okay, if there's a danger, there's, a lot of standing water, hydroplaning, different. Let's wait 15, 20 minutes. Let this pass. But waiting 90 minutes was insane.
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
Because they ran like 3 laps behind the safety car and it was dry.
Yeah.
And it was just, not completely dry, but
you
can
like
start seeing dry
bit.
lines. Yeah. It's like, okay, that's no water whatsoever.
Yeah.
But anyways. Okay. Yeah, I agree. Fresh set. Would you like to go first?
I'm going to go with the semi-obvious of Lewis. I think we finally got to see him come alive. And I think I've said this a couple times. We got to see some great moments, but I think this was reminiscent of, he didn't win this one, but we got to see what happened in Brazil 2022? No. 2019?
2019.
When he came from
2021.
14th and won. And 21.
That's why he was in the fight with Max at the end.
Yeah, right, exactly. So it was, and like you said, it's not that there was just no fight. Like, he was just so dominant in those overtakes that the person couldn't even fight back if they wanted to. He was just picking them off. He made up 11 positions. It wasn't a win, but I would say in some regard it was a win, and it was just nice to see. And I think he was probably pretty happy with that, starting where he started. So rough weekend for him with qualifying. So some good in it.
There's a lot I could have picked in this one. I thought about Bortoleto. I thought about Lawson. But I'm going to give it to Albon. He just had a great weekend all weekend. He was in the top 5 or 6 all weekend. It didn't matter if it was qualifying or race results. And then to have that gap between him and Carlos Sainz could have been a dirty air. But, to put that car where he put it, especially because, I get it. It's fast in the straights, but you set up perfectly. You drove it perfectly. He was never in any real danger. He wasn't in a lot of fights. He kind of kept that gap between. I know George got him at the end, but
Kept it clean.
He did. And he drove phenomenal all weekend, consistently putting up big points for Williams week in and week out, but especially this weekend.
Yeah. I would say that's, look, neither of our fresh sets won, but they just were driving.
That's too easy to pick the winners. Yeah,
honestly. But yeah. So that's it for us. We will be back next week, I guess. Yes. We have Hungary. And then summer break. That is for
3
racing.
Weeks off.
3 weeks off for them. We'll be around. But yeah, we will see you guys next time.
Yep. Grab a fresh set.
Bye.